This week I'm driving the Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD Duramax High Country. So the High Country model is the top of the line for the Silverado lineup. It's kind of like the Denali for GMC, but this one is more country, more cowboy style. So it's going to compete against the King Ranch from Ford or the Longhorn from Ram. You can notice a High Country by this big chrome grille in the front with some bronze touches. A lot of chrome on those High Country model. Also on the hood, you can notice this one's a Duramax diesel engine with the Allison transmission. Every HD truck equipped with the optional diesel engine is gonna have this big logo on the hood, so it's easy to notice it's the diesel one. Also, we've got some optional 20 inches chrome wheels here. Really nice wheel, pretty expensive option also. On the side, a lot of chrome again. We've got those retracting steps on the side, easy to go in and out of the truck. And on the back, we've got a really nice optional tonneau cover with multiple panel. And on the back, we've got a big lettering Chevrolet we can find on all the Silverados. Stepping in the back of this Silverado, there's a big cabin, a lot of space. I'm able to fit behind myself. A lot of space for my head, for my legs. So you've got a really decent cabin. You can bring your employees, your families, or anyone you want inside of that big cabin. Under the hood, we can find a V8 6.6 liter turbo diesel, good for 445 horsepower and 910 foot-pound of torque. This engine is matched to a 10-speed Allison transmission, one of the best on the market. Pretty good engine under the hood. Not a lot of torque like we can find at Ram and Super Duty, but the Duramax engine matched with that transmission makes a powerful combo. Depending on the option, you can tow up to 18,500 pounds with the 2500 HD equipped with the diesel. You can also opt for the gasoline engine. It's a V8 6.6 liter, but you have to make some sacrifice on the torque, the fuel economy, and the towing capacity. All right, behind the wheel of the Silverado 2500 HD with the Duramax in the High Country trim. This truck, I had the chance to really test it 2 years ago when GM, Chevrolet and GMC launched their HD truck. So I had the chance to fly to Wyoming and also in Oregon to two different events, one from GMC, the other one from Chevrolet. I had the chance to test the new Duramax back then with the new Allison transmission, also the 6.6 liter gas engine. With different kind of payload, different kind of trailer and all that. Where we were testing these trucks, it was always up and down. It was a real test with the transmission, so I had the chance to really, test these trucks. And also had the chance to drive the 3500 dually and tow more than 30,000 pounds and one time 35,000 pounds. It was a blast. It was really fun. And also last year I had the chance to drive the GMC 2500 HD 84 with the Duramax. Really similar truck to this one. From my point of view, the GMC looks better than the Chevrolet, outside and inside, but that's my personal taste. Driving these trucks, this week, it's pretty much the same like the GMC I drove last year. A good truck on the road. I love how the transmission works with the Duramax engine. It's a really good match for that transmission. The way it shifts its gear, downshift. One of the key features of this truck is really the transmission. From my point of view, the way this transmission shifts and the way you manage the power and all that, it's one of the best on the market. I prefer this transmission to the Ford and the Ram. I know inside of the Ford it's pretty much the same transmission, but the way GM's been tuning that transmission, it works so seamless, so smooth, and it works really well. And that's one of the key points you have to look at when you're buying these trucks. The powertrain and the transmission are really, really important. You know, sometimes when you just look at a normal car, the transmission is not one of the key features you're gonna look at. But inside of these trucks, it's really, really important. And when I tested with some heavy load, that transmission was there and was working really well. So this is a big, big plus for these trucks. You know, power-wise, we've got 910 foot-pounds of torque. It seems like a lot, but it's kind of lacking if we compare it to the Super Duty and also the Ram HO. But you can really feel more torque inside of the Super Duty, that's for sure. If we step inside of the Silverado, this one's a high country. I'm not a big fan of that trim level, you know, the bronze, the wood, the chrome, the little bronze also in the grill. I think it's kind of lacking, it's kind of fade if we compare it to the King Ranch and also the Longhorn. I think the Longhorn is just the over-the-top, you know, interior-wise cowboy. A lot of details, barbed wire and all of that. It's just over the top. For some people, it can be too much. I think the King Ranch is that sweet spot, you know, countryside ranch, you know, cowboy style. You know, it's a cowboy truck, but still kind of classy. Just right there in that sweet spot. And the high country is just like, we've got some bronze, and, you know, you don't feel inside of a, you know, country cowboy style. You know, from my point of view, it doesn't really compete against those King Ranch and Longhorn. That's why, you know, I prefer the GMC lineup. I know I'm younger, these kind of stuff's gonna please the older, you know, crowd. But from my point of view, the Denali and the AT4 looks way better, you know, design-wise, outside and also inside. And, you know, instead of having a brown plastic inside of a AT4, we've got some brush, you know, metal, dark. You know, it's just a little bit better, you know. I know that's the GMC in touch, but still, interior-wise, I think back in 2019, that interior was, you know, a good-looking interior, and it's practical, and also it's useful when you work with your truck. But now, these days, in 2021, I think this interior needs an update. It needs a bigger screen. Now, these days, we're in a technology race, I could say. Needs bigger screen. It's a competition between brands and all that. I know Ford is bringing the F-150 interior inside of their Super Duty. The Ram is just crushing all the other interior. It's been a while now. And, you know, GM was supposed to bring a refresh interior for 2022 inside of the 1500 models, but I think it's been pushed to 2023 because of COVID and all that. But still, we need something a little bit better, bigger screen and all that. Otherwise, you know, this interior is super easy to use. Everything is just like, it's right there, it's not complicated. The cameras inside of the screen are one of the best, HD quality. While you're towing, you've got those extra cameras. I went a little bit deeper into the technologies of these trucks in my last video with the GMC AT4. Go check it out if you want to learn more about these trucks. But these camera system works pretty well. It was just fantastic when I was towing with them. You see the side of your trailer, you can also put one inside of your trailer, one in the back of your trailer. You can have a ton of like really good cameras. If you're a big hanger, you know, towing and driving these kind of big trucks, these cameras gonna help you a lot, that's for sure. A question I receive a lot while I'm testing these AG truck: is it worth it to spend $10,000 more to get the optional diesel engine? You know, if money is not a big obstacle for you, it's worth it to spend that amount of money. We've got tons of power, more towing capacities, better fuel economies. There's less noise out of the engine. It was not the case before, but these days, these engines are really, really quiet. These engines are fantastic these days. So, you know, If you are doing a lot of mileage, if you tow a lot, you need that diesel. Obviously, it's going to cost you a little bit more, you know, to maintain those diesel engine. But at the end of the day, it's really worth it. The only point I could say it's worth it to have the gasoline engine. It's really if you don't use your truck a lot. If you just tow on the weekend or just tow like once or twice a year, you rarely use your truck, you don't work with it, you don't do like 30 kilometers per year with it, the gas can be worth it in that case. But you know, it's going to be thirsty while towing, it's going to rave up a lot. You don't have that awesome Allison transmission. It makes more noise obviously because you have to rave it, you know, when you're in a hill or something like that. So obviously I'm team diesel any day for these HD trucks, for any brand. The diesel is always superior and always worth it. And speaking of fuel economy, you know, this week I was averaging between 14 and 15 liters per 100 kilometers. I could say a good 14. You know, for these kind of trucks, you know, this is really good. You know, they're big, they're heavy, it's like 12,000 pounds. These kind of fuel economies are really, really good. And you know, most people who don't know about these trucks, don't know about diesel, they think we were doing like 25 liters per 100 kilometers, and it's not the case. So if you're not towing and you just want to drive around, it's not super thirsty, and I think it's worth it, you know, especially again for the diesel. Speaking of price, you know, this week the model I'm driving, it's close to 100,000 Canadian. I know it's pretty expensive. This one is tricked out with every option. We've got a special Rancho off-road suspension, optional wheels and all that, and it's the high country model. I think if you remove some of the options, you can get a good truck probably in the 80 or under 80,000 to be able to have a nice truck and still able to have a lot of towing capacities. From my point of view, again, not a big fan of the high country model. I think this week, you know, the way this truck looks, the exterior and also the interior, it doesn't look like a truck you spend $100,000. Maybe if it was a Denali or maybe a King Ranch from Ford, it would look like a truck who cost that price. But from my point of view, this week, it doesn't look like that. So the big question is this week, which brand of truck HD is my favorite from all the trucks I've been testing in the past 2 years. In 2021, my favorite is still the GMC, you know, 84 Denali and all that. I think exterior-wise, powertrain, transmission and all that, I think the GMC's got the total package. You know, it's not the best interior, it's not the most powerful engine, but overall, when you take everything, you know, the looks, the interior, the technologies, the cameras, the way the transmission reacts and all that, I think for right now, as I'm filming this, it's my favorite. I think Ford's gonna surpass the GM trucks probably soon, once they get that new interior, new screen, new cameras and all that, the new technologies. From my point of view, the Ford's gonna be number one pretty soon. Then GM's gonna probably bring a new interior and all that. So that's gonna be a big plus for the GM products. And on the Ram side, a beautiful truck, beautiful interior, but from my point of view, the engine and the transmission, they need a major update to stay in the game with the GM and the Ford. So let me know in the comments which HD truck is your favorite. I want to know which one do you think is the best. Do you prefer the Chevrolet or the GMC? Are you team GMC just like me, or your Chevy truck? You know, I know the guys in the US, they like their Chevy truck, and here in Canada, the GMC are really popular. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and we're gonna see each other on the next review.